Welcome to the Small Actions, Big Ripples podcast, where we celebrate the achievements of individuals whose small, intentional actions create waves of positive change. In this episode, I'm thrilled to welcome EJ Hopson-VandenBos and Seb Slater from Shrewsbury BID, whose mission is to promote Shrewsbury, champion local businesses and deliver projects that enhance the town centre. Welcome both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you each briefly introduce yourselves and share what inspired you to take on your current roles with Shrewsbury BID? EJ, why don't we start with you first?
Hi, so I run Original Shrewsbury, communications and engagement for Shrewsbury BID. I came to Shrewsbury BID during a time when I was freelancing. I've always been really passionate about Shrewsbury, having come to college here and just loved the town ever since. I approached Shrewsbury BID directly, just a chance email, and was very fortunate to be taken into the fold as a freelancer, and the rest is history. I now can't see myself ever leaving given the chance to stay.
Seb, what about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Seb. I lead the Shrewsbury BID team. I've been doing this job for 8.5 years now, and before that I was working in London post-university in kind of regeneration and community building, and actually my wife's family live in Shrewsbury, so we were visiting quite a lot and enjoying our trip each time we came, and actually the opportunity came up to work for the BID, which at its heart is about building community. It's about building a community of businesses that are working together, but also that community of wider people that come in and support the town and spend time and money in the town. So very much aligned with my kind of values and skills that I'd picked up previously. And yeah, it's a wonderful place. I think that's the other thing that just continues to inspire me. It did at the start when I sort of fell in love with the place, but continues to really keep me interested and engaged in the place with their sort of heritage. And then obviously in our jobs, we're very lucky to get to know the people behind all the businesses and the people behind the town. So that continues to keep us inspired, I think.
Now, you both act as key links between local businesses, partners and residents. Why do you feel Shrewsbury BID's role is so vital for the town centre's success?
Yeah, I mean, what Shrewsbury BID does essentially is we give businesses a really clear voice in how the town is run, how the town is developed, how the town is promoted. We make sure that businesses are heard at that table and that they are represented when it comes to council developments, when it comes to transformation of the town, that they are heard. And we make sure that when the town is being promoted, the heritage and the beauty of the town are being promoted, but it's also the people running the businesses and what the businesses offer to the town and what people can do when they're here. Shrewsbury BID has such a business focus, and I think that's really important.
And it's all about the people, really, the community, building the community spirit and getting to know the faces behind the local businesses. So, your work is so vital. What's one project from the past year you're especially proud of delivering, and why?
I think it has to be the whole Work in Shrewsbury programme, which Stavros, you've been a part of, and you've seen some of that. That was a new theme for us to do as a BID. We've been around for 10 years now, and we felt we could really get involved in that business support, business startup, and just developing the town centre economy. We've spent a lot of our time promoting consumer-facing businesses, and that's the wonderful retail offer, the food and drink. But we also think that Shrewsbury now needs to evolve in other ways as well. So being able to have a project that was very much focused around that, supported by Shropshire Council, and I mean, just to name a few of the activities, we had a grant programme which was offering over £150,000 worth of grants to businesses in the town centre. We also had the masterclass programme, which I know, Stavros, you were there, and thanks for your support, bringing both local experts but also people from much further afield to Shrewsbury to kind of share their expertise. And then the cohort, 15 businesses that were either in their infancy or just an idea, and supporting them to get up and running. And it's so rewarding to see them now operating, many of them in the town centre.
Like you said, I was part of that, and I was grateful for all your support, including the financial support, and the fact that in this challenging economic climate that we're all living in, how you managed to get the funds together to support local businesses, and I was the recipient of that. So I'm grateful and thankful for your support and for all you're doing behind the scenes. Thank you.
And we were thrilled.
Could then maybe, EJ, if we start with you, could you share a specific example when your work directly made a difference for a business or a community group?
Yeah, so one thing we do through Original Shrewsbury, and this is one of my favourite things to do whenever it happens, is every time a new business opens in the town, we are first on the scene, we get pictures, we speak to the people, we learn a bit about their story, and we promote them to the town. So on that first day when those businesses open their doors, they can expect people to know they're there and to come straight in the door. They don't have to wait 1 or 2 weeks for people to slowly learn they're there by word of mouth. And those posts will I mean, one of the most recent examples is Dill on Wild Cop. No one really knew what was happening with Dill. Shortly before it opened, we got the details of what was going on there. We posted about it. That post was seen by over 100,000 people and liked by over 1,000. The comments are still coming in for Dill. It's into the 500 comments now. And Dill has just soared as a new restaurant. And that is obviously primarily down to the amazing work of Dylan, who runs the restaurant, and what he's done there, which is a beautiful space with beautiful food. But being able to give that initial boost where they don't have to wait for the word of mouth, people know about it the second it's open, and those bookings can start coming in. You can really see the difference it makes to local businesses that are just starting out.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Seb, I know you've already mentioned about the Evolve business cohort, which I was part of. Can you put your finger on another special project that you feel especially proud of?
Yeah, I mean, I think EJ's touched on giving businesses a collective voice, and that's often something that is so valued, because one business on their own with a view, or shouting about something that maybe needs to be changed or improved, it's not as effective as a whole group. And so I'm always proud and pleased when we can give that collective voice, take in the views of the whole community, and come with a kind of rounded view, and have some weight with that voice, often influencing decisions with Shropshire Council. And we often appreciated for that work.
Great. Seb, Shrewsbury BID continues to navigate economic headwinds and complex partnership relationships. What's a recurring obstacle, in your opinion, you face, and how do you work around it?
So partnerships is very much a key part of what we do. We couldn't deliver anywhere near as much as we do without those partnerships. And I suppose the main one would be with the local authority, Shropshire Council. And I think everyone that's listening will know that local government funding has been for quite some time and continues every year to be a challenge. And it's not all about money, and we can do so much without, but that does continue to be a challenge. And I suppose how we've met that challenge is through deeper partnership, through trust, through being creative, thinking about different ways of bringing investment in or achieving the same goal. I think that would be probably the number one thing that kind of comes up. And it doesn't show any signs of necessarily going away next week or next year. So we've got to continue to kind of bring that energy and creativity to how we make a positive difference in Shrewsbury and just keep that going.
I think for me, you hit the nail on the head then. The problem solving involves often a great level of creativity and collaboration, working collaboratively with people and with your partners. And I feel that as long as there's the will there and then the good intentions are there, and if people are willing to work together and creatively solve the problems, and I know you said it's not always about the money, but is an important driving force. We live in a capitalist society. It does help to oil that machine. But behind all that, there are real people with real stories to tell, and that's what you're there for. Yeah. So, no, well done.
And could I just add, the Shrewsbury Town Council with a new administration are really stepping up, and in fact that's what they're calling some of their initiatives, but they are really willing to do things differently, to get involved, to invest. So, while it might be a challenging period for one organisation, it's an opportunity for another to really show their value and worth for the town.
Fantastic. Thank you. EJ, maybe we can start with you on this one. What keeps you motivated to continue your work with Shrewsbury BID, especially given the level of effort required across the many community sectors you operate in?
Oh, it's honestly a love for the town, and I know that sounds cheesy, and I know that I'm a broken record about how much I love the town. I've always loved it. it's a job that does require, like you say, a lot of effort and a lot of hours, but there's never a moment where my motivation wavers, really. I love the work. I getting feedback from the businesses, hearing how we've helped to support them, getting feedback from the public, hearing how they enjoy what we do and how we've helped them find things to do with their families on a weekend. It's getting that feedback makes such a difference.
Thank you for sharing that. Seb, what about you? What are your
I mean,
motivations?
I'm going to echo it to some extent in that it is the place that kind of keeps us going. And we always say it's a wonderful place now, but it can get even better. There's so many opportunities. So I think that's what kind of keeps us going, to think, well, Shrewsbury's brilliant now, but in 5 years, how could it have changed, evolved, and to be even more successful? And obviously thinking about the business community to make that as kind of dynamic and thriving as possible.
And can I just add as
Yeah.
well, although we want to evolve the town, there is also every year in Shrewsbury something new and exciting is happening. You can, if your motivation starts to waver, then in a month's time there's another new amazing creative original unique business that has popped up, and it just gives you such motivation to see these people move to Shrewsbury, make Shrewsbury their home, and bring something really special to the town.
Thank you for sharing those personal stories. Seb, with award shortlisting in both Work in Shrewsbury and Shrewsbury Moves initiatives and the Let's Celebrate Towns Awards 2025, how do you see these achievements shaping the next phase for Shrewsbury and for the work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, I mean, let's think about Shrewsbury Moves. I think that award is a real endorsement that we're on the right track. In many ways, that work has only just started. It's all about transforming how people access and move around our town centre. And we've got some really exciting projects right now where how we're starting to do that. Things like the e-bike scheme, 200 plus bikes now out there being used on a subsidised basis. The e-cargo scheme, the cycle pods, improved park and ride. So there are things happening, but actually there's some bigger moves hopefully to come, which will really see movement and access transformed and crucially improved. We've got to be honest, there are some real challenges around access at the moment. It's probably the number one thing we hear in terms of things that need to improve. So the awards, really great for the team that's been working on it for quite some time, and there's been a huge amount of consultation and thinking, and it's kind of now's time for the action. So it's the really exciting bit, but always great to get that recognition.
Like you said before, getting that feedback, getting that recognition is so important for you to feel that you're actually doing something that resonates with people and it makes a real difference. And I can certainly vouch for that. Yeah. So, EJ, what advice would you give to other non-profit organizations or town councils that may feel inspired by your work and what Shrewsbury BID has achieved so far, and they want to make a similar impact in their own towns?
So I think one of the things that Seb has touched on already is the importance of partnership working, really strong, inclusive, strategic partnerships. It's something we hear again and again about Shrewsbury BID and the Big Town Plan, which involves Shropshire Council, Shrewsbury Town Council and Shrewsbury BID, is that we have and have been able to achieve the kind of partnerships across sector organisations that aren't seen everywhere. It's not something you get in every town or every city in the country, and it makes a huge difference when everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet and has the same goals. And the other thing I would say is to be as welcoming and welcome as many people into your work as you can. And it's something that feels like an exclusive club doesn't generate trust. So to welcome and open the doors is really important. Transparency.
Going back to that message that we talked about, it's all about community and bringing all the stakeholders together, partners together, creative problem solving that we talked about. So that's all hugely important. Seb, anything to add to that at all?
No, I would echo that. Partnership working, trust, and that's kind of at the heart of successful partnerships. So, generosity and trust among partners, I would say.
Fantastic advice. Thank you both. EJ, if you had one superpower to help Shrewsbury BID's mission, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I've been really thinking about this one. I would love to be able to flick a switch and put a a positivity filter on people so they can see what's wonderful about Shrewsbury. Visitors come to town, they tell us how absolutely beautiful and amazing this town is. Sometimes for people who've lived here 10, 20, 30 years, they forget how lucky we are. Maybe they don't visit other towns around the country or other cities. They're not really aware. If I could flick a switch and make them see Shrewsbury the way that visitors do, that would be a great superpower to have.
Seb, what about you? What would your superpower be?
I mean, just picking up on that, I remember those first few weeks when I'd moved to the town, just walking around in awe, and you kind of wish you could bottle that, bottle that up. But it does change over time. You get a bit used to it. But I mean, the one that I was thinking about was more about the world kind of view. It is a more volatile, uncertain world at the moment, and that does impact both, obviously, the UK economy, which has not been particularly buoyant in recent years, but also just that kind of consumer confidence. So I guess I would wish for a slightly more calmer, wider world view, and that the economy could be growing. I mean, I think growing up in the kind of 90s and you look back at the growth rate, things were just happening. And I'd love to see that again, that the UK gets on that track, which would have a real impact on Shrewsbury as well.
Small actions can create bigger ripples, and that's what it's all about. And well done, both. Well, thank you. That's a wrap for this episode of the Small Actions, Big Ripples podcast. Thank you to EJ and Seb for being my guests today and for sharing their vision for the future of Shrewsbury. If you enjoyed this conversation, look out for future episodes and more inspiring stories of people like EJ and Seb who are driven by their passion and commitment to creating social impact. Until next time, keep taking those small actions. You never know just how far your ripples will reach. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.